Assalamu alaikum. We're starting a fresh lesson, another lesson yet on algebra. We'll be doing algebraic questions based around averages, and then we will be going through some more practice for sentence completion. Let's start with the quantitative section. Let's start with the algebraic questions based on averages. Question number 1. They're saying the average of the first 5 multiples of 3 is. Now, we need to know what the first 5 multiples of 3 are. We know that, but 3 times 1, 3, 3 times 2, 6, times 3, 9, times 4, 12, times 5, 15. When they specify the word average, do we know what to do? What we do is we add up everything, whatever we have, and divide it by the number of items we have. 1, 2, 3. Divided by 3, that gives us the average. Just as a reminder, I'm sure you know of this already. So we add everything up, and we divide by the total number we have. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, divided by 5. The answer that gives me is what the average is. What answer does it give me? Well, I want to be a bit smart with the addition. What I would say is 3 times 12 is 15, and 15 is 15, and 15 is a 30. That's done. 9 and 6 is a 15, and 15 and 30 is a 45. You're free to add whichever way you like. The reason I like to show you the way that I'm doing it, doing the addition, is just to show you how I'm trying to be a bit, trying to do a bit of mental math in a quicker fashion. Work with whatever is quickest for you. So I got a 45 in the numerator, the sum of it was 45, divided by 5, that gives me a 9. That's my answer. Let's move on to the next question. The average of 20 numbers is 0. So now this time around what they're doing is they're adding up 20 numbers, and the average of them is they're specifying as 0. So divided by 20, that's the total, is 0. Of them, at the most, which is at the maximum value, how many may be greater than 0? So they want positive numbers. They're saying at the most, how many positive numbers could we have had? I'll walk you through the MCQs. We have 0 positive numbers. Well, if all the numbers are negative, I'm supposed to get the average as something negative. It can't be a 0. Just one of, so that's not possible. So just one of the numbers is positive. Yes, it is very much possible, because let's say I've got 19 numbers here. Let's say the sum of them is, 100. They are all negative numbers, and then because we're adding up everything, so the sum of negative numbers plus a positive number that we are considering, let's say that's 100. So I've got a negative 100, the sum of all of this, the negative numbers, plus the 100 would end up giving me a 0, and that I'm dividing by a 20. So 0 divided by 20 would give me 0. So that is possible, actually, that is possible. But because they specified they need the maximum number possible, I'm going to try the next two options as well. Option C, they're saying 10 of the numbers are negative, so it's negative, 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 and then obviously the rest 10 of the numbers are positive. Well, that is pretty much possible. Let's say that the sum of this entire thing is a negative 50, and the sum of this entire thing is a 50. I end up getting a 0 in the denominator, divided by a 20, which again give me a 0. I'm trying to explain to you and introduce into you the idea of how we are supposed to get a 0 at the end. So we can get a 0 at the end if all the numbers, some of the numbers are negative and some of the numbers are positive. The sum of the negative numbers should be a particular thing, and the sum of the positive numbers should be a particular thing as well, only the sign is reversed. So when you add them, you end up getting a 0. Every time when you do the sum of those 20 numbers and you end up getting a 0, that means the average is going to be a 0. So I could have 10 numbers that are negative and 10 numbers that are positive. I could have 19 numbers that are negative and 19 numbers that are positive and just one number that's negative. Let's say I have a negative 100 plus 19 numbers, the sum of which I get to be 100. Again, I'm getting a 0. So D is my answer. B, C, and D, 1, 10, and 19, all three are possible, but because they said at the most, the maximum number possible, which is why we are going with 19. I hope this concept is clear, because we're just forming the very basic concepts of algebra that can come up. Question number 3. The average weight of A, B, and C is 45. Okay, I got that. I'm going to form an equation using that. So A, B, and C. The average of them is 45. Got that. Next, if the average weight of A and B is 40, okay, so the average of A and B is 40, and that of B and C is 43, B and C is 43, then the weight of B is, okay, that's the question. I've got 3 equations and 3 variables. I just need to shuffle around the equations, play around with them until I get the answer. I've got 2 options. First of all, I want to get rid of the denominator. I will go take this over there. It's being divided, so it will be multiplication on the other side. Plus C is 45 times 3, which is equivalent to 135. Then I've got A plus B equals, I'm taking 2 to the other side, that's 2 times 40, that's an 80, taking 2 to the other side again, that's B and C is 43 times 2, 86. Now that I've got 3 equations, all I want to try and do is substitute one into the other. So what I would do is I know A plus B is equal to 80, I would replace that A plus B with 80 from here. Plus, I'm going to copy down the rest of the equation, plus C, so C, let's take 80 to the other side, take away 80, that should give me, how much is that, 13, take away 80, 50, 55, 55. I've got C as 55, that's done, but because they want the value of B, I will go here and put back the C. So that's B plus 55 is the same thing as 86. Take 55 to the other side, I'm left with a 31. That's the value of B, 31. We could have gone through it one more way, by the way. I mean, I don't know. I think this is pretty straightforward. Let's not do it. If another question comes up on similar lines, we go through the other way of solving this. This one's quite straightforward. I know it looks long and very long, but it's always because the explanation is long because I'm explaining it to you. I want to break it down into as many steps as possible. But when you're doing it on your piece of paper, you can skip through most of them. Let's go to the next question. David obtained 76, 50, 65, 82, 65, and 85 marks out of 100 in English, math, physics, chemistry, and biology. What is his average mark? So average mark, all I need to do is add up everything. Okay, add up everything. The addition, can you tell the addition is going to be quite a long procedure? Because they're 2-digit numbers and divided by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, divided by 5 will give me the answer. While I was writing it down, I thought the average this is going to be really complicated. Not complicated, just long. And what happens is if I end up doing long addition, I fear that I might do a careless mistake while doing it, which is why I want to be a bit smarter with it. So I would write the tens separately. I've got a 70 from the first one, 60 from the second one, 80, 60, and 80. 80, 60, and 80. And then I would write the ones separately, 6, 5, 2, 7, 5. 6, 5, 2, 7, 5. That's easy for me. Like I said, I'm writing it down, so it's understandable to you. Otherwise, I would have done this in my head like you would do when you're doing it on your own. Then again, I want to be a bit smart with addition. I'll say 80 and 80, that's 160. 60 and 60, that's 120. Them together is 280. 280 has to be added into the 70, that's the only one left. That would give me a 350. 28 and 7. 28 and 7 is a 35. The 0 carries on, so I have a 350 plus, what do I have on the right hand side? With the ones I have, let's say that's 7, right? And that's a 7, so that's 14. And 6 and 5, actually 6 and 14 is a 20. 20 and 5 is a 25. All of them done, 25. Now, when I look at this, do you see I'm not going to add them? Because I quickly realized if I add them up, I would end up getting a 375. And then dividing that by 5 would take me long division, most probably. So I would just leave them the way they are, split them, and divide individually, because that is so much quicker. That's 5 times 1, that's 5 times 7, the 0 carries on. 5 times 1, that's 5 times 5, that's a 75. That's the answer. So while you're doing the workout, be a bit careful of the numbers that you are bringing in. And, from the beginning of the question, it should be, you should be working towards how would I add them, how would I multiply them. I don't have a calculator. They know I don't have a calculator. They're not expecting me to do long digit workouts. Next question, the average of all prime numbers between 30 to 50 is. Now, the average of all prime numbers, so we first need to work out the prime numbers. 30, let's move. 31. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So remember, the prime numbers are numbers like 5, 7, not 9. Because 3 times 3 gives you 9, 11. So numbers that have two factors, one in itself, they can't be broken down into anything else. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, right? So I divide by 5. Again, I'll do the exact same thing. Add the units separately and add the 10 separately. I wouldn't write them down because, like I said, we were supposed to be working them out in our head. That's 30, 30. That's a 60. 60 and 40 is 100. 140 is 140. 140 and 40 is 180. So from the 10s, I have 180. When I add up the ones, I get 1 and 7. That's an 8. 8 and 1, that's a 9. 9 and 3, 12. 12 and 7, 21. Is it? 12 and 7. It's 19. 12 and 7 is 19. And then again, I wouldn't add them up because this looks really problematic. This one here is not divisible by 5. I'm just going to leave it the way it is rather than ending up with a long, huge number that I don't even know how to work out with. Now, I would do this part, 180 divided by 5. How much is that? 20 and 8 and 8, 16. 36. Now, how did I do that? I said, okay, I'm going to split this into 100, a 40, and a 40. So 180, I split that into 100, 40, and 40, and then I divided by 5 individually. So I know divided by 5, that gives me a 20, divided by 5, that's an 8, divided by 5, that's an 8. Add them all together, 8 and 8, 16, 16 and 20 is 36. Just showing you how we can work about it. Plus, what do we do about this thing here? I mean, I know we've got to be, can I say this is almost like a 4? This is almost like a 20 over 5, almost a 4. So it's almost a 4, which means when I add them up, it's almost a 40. And here, this one's almost a 40. So 39.8 is your final answer. Next question. The average of 4 consecutive odd numbers. Now, these kind of words come up, consecutive, alternative, etc., etc. These kind of words come up. They've been, you'll see them in your GAT test paper. What these words mean is now, I don't know what they mean. Consecutive, if like, for example, something is consecutive, I would say, okay, I don't know what the first number is, let's just say x. The second number would then be 1 more than x, makes sense, right? If the first number is 2, the next one should be 3, which is 1 more than the previous one. The one after, which should be 2 more than the previous one. 2 plus 2, 4, makes sense, right? So this is if I'm specifying consecutive numbers. But if now they added another new word to this, it said odd consecutive numbers, which means I'm taking the first one, I leave the one after. When they're odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, do you see that it's plus 2 every time, plus 2? So what I would do is, let's say plus 2. Then the next one would be plus 4. The next one would be plus 6. So we're skipping x plus 1. We skipped x plus 3. We skipped x plus 5. That means we've got 4 odd consecutive numbers. I hope this concept is okay and clear. Next, now what they want is the average. So you add up all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 numbers, right? 1. So the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. The average of them is, which means divided by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. Divided by 4 is 24. Find the largest number. That's it. That's it. The largest number should be x plus 6. From here, the last number is x plus 6, there's 1. All I need to do is just work it out. I'll take 4 to the other side, so 24 multiplies by 4 because it's being divided on the left-hand side. I add up all the x's. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. What I would say is 4x plus 2, 4, and 6. 2 and 4, 6, 6 and 6, 12. That's a 12. That's the answer I'm getting. Now I have to try and work it out. I don't know the table of 24. I would split that into 12 times 2 because now I know 2 times 4 is an 8, and 12 times 8 gives me a 96. So, like I said, I'm just trying to show you the mental workout, what's going on in my head, so sometimes you can get a hint from it. Then I got that to 96 for x. I'll bring the 12 to the other side, subtract it because it's addition there. So 84 for x, divide both sides by 4, so I end up getting a 21. X equals to 21. Now because they wanted the largest number, they don't want the value of x, they're saying the largest number, and these were our numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Obviously that is the largest number, so it's a 21 plus 6. That's a 27. Your answer. It's important to grab the concept of consecutive numbers, odd consecutive numbers. Basically this is the origin thing to it. So these are consecutive numbers. When they say odd, you pick one, you drop one, you pick one, you drop one. By the way, you can start anywhere. I can even say I want x plus 1 to be the first number, and then the next number would be x plus 2. X plus 2. The next number would be x plus 3. I can, over here, they started with an x. I could start with x plus 1, x plus 2. It doesn't matter, because eventually you will get the exact same answer. Next, let's go. The average of 10 numbers is 0. It's a very similar question to what we've done earlier. The average of 10 numbers is 0, so you're adding 10 different numbers, and the average of them, you're ending up getting 10 numbers, you're ending up getting a 0. At the most, how many numbers may be greater than 0? It's actually the exact same question, just with the values changed. So give it a go. You must know how to do that. We have zero positive values. We're looking for greater than 0. That means positive value. We have no positive value. That's not possible because at the end the average should be a 0. That means some of the values are positive and some of the values are negative. Maybe one of the values is negative and one of the values is positive and 9 of them are negative. Yes, it is possible as long as the sum of these values and the sum of this value are equal to each other, because when you add them you should get a 0. You can have 5 positive values and 5 negative values. No problem. Even that would work. You could have 9 positive values and 1 negative value. That would work as well. Because they use the word at most, that means the maximum possible value you could have, we go with 9. It's a very similar question to what we've done earlier. I think it was question number 2. So if there any anything that you didn't understand here, it's a much detailed explanation at the previous point. I think it was question number 2. Let's move on to the next question. Yes, it was question number 2. Question number 2 and 7 are the exact same thing. Question number 8. Find the average of all numbers between 6 and 35, which are divisible by 5. So they're looking for the table of 5 in between 6 and 34. So we can start with 10. 5 doesn't count because it's less than that. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 doesn't count because we're stopping at 34. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them. They add up to give you. How do I add them up again? Let's be a bit smart with it. 30 and 20 is a 50. 50 and 10 is a 60. 15 and 25 is a 40. That's done. 60 and 40, that's 100 over 5. 100 divided by 5, we know that's the table of 5. That's 20. Done. That was fairly easier. Next question, number 9. Average age of boys in a class is 16 years, and average age of girls in a class is 15 years. Okay, so the boys' average age is 16 years, and the girls' average age is 15 years. What is the average age of all of them? So that means it should be like 16, how many times? The number of boys that we have, plus 15, the number of girls we have, divided by the total. Should give us the average, right? The problem is they haven't given us the total. They haven't told us how many number of boys are there and how many number of girls are there, which is why this answer cannot be computed, or it's not possible to work it out. Oh, that was an E. That was short. Next, we've got question number 10. The average of 3 consecutive numbers is 9. What's the biggest number? Now, we just learned that what consecutive numbers mean, right? We just refreshed what they look like. So let's say the first number. I want to take the first number as, shall I take it? I don't know, x plus 1, let's say. X plus 1, plus that's my first number, because they said 3 consecutive numbers. X plus 2, that's the second number. X plus 3, that's the third number. The average, which means I need to divide it by the total, which is 3, of 3 consecutive numbers is 9. What is the biggest number? Let's start solving. Take 3 to the other side. 3 times 9, 27. Multiplies because it's dividing over here. Then I've got x, and x. 3 x's plus 1 and 2, which is 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 3, 9. Let's take 9 to the other side. That would be 27. Take away 9. That's an 18. Divide that by 3. Take 3 to the other side. That's a 6. So now I got the value of x as 6. Depending on what you took the first value to be, because we took the first number to x plus 1, x plus 2, and x plus 3, right? That's where we substitute in. They want the biggest number, so I take x and I substitute it in the biggest number, which will be 6 plus 3, which is 6 plus 3 is 9. So here you go. That's the answer. Be careful about substituting it back, because it depends which one you have to substitute it into. Okay, next, question number 11. The average of 7 numbers is 12. Let's write it down. I don't know what the numbers are, I'm just going to use letters. C, D, E, F, G, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The average of 7 numbers is 12. The average of 3 of them, okay, 3 from here, I'll take any 3, let me take A, B, and C. The average of 3 of them is negative 11. What is the sum of the other 4? Sum of the other 4, I'm done with A, B, C already. What they're looking for is D, E, F, G. What's that? What's the sum of it? I'll make use of the 2 equations that I formed. I'll take 3 to the other side. A, B, C equals negative 11 times 3. That's a negative 33. So that means the sum of A, B, and C is a negative 33, which means I can replace this entire thing by negative 33, right? Plus D, E, F, G. Over 7, let me take 7 to the other side, so it becomes multiplication. That's 12 times 7, that's an 84. Ah, yes, 84. I have negative 33, plus D, plus E, plus F, plus G. Let's take the 33 to the other side as well. That is 84 plus 33. So D, E, F, and G, they all add up to give me, what's the sum of them? 84 and 33. Got a 7 and 8 and 30, 11? 117. 117 is my answer. Number D is my answer. So that's that. Let's move on to the next question. 3 alternative numbers add up to 399. Okay, alternative numbers. Let me take the first one as x plus 1. I drop x plus 2 because they're saying alternatives, and I take the next one x plus 3. I drop x plus 4, I take the next one x plus 5. The sum of them, oh, they don't want the average. It's just the 3 alternative numbers add up to give me 399. That's 3 x's. 1 plus 2 plus 3. That's 3x plus 1 and 3. That's 4. 4 and 5. That's a 9. 399. Let's take 9 to the other side. So you've got 399. Take away 9. 3x. 3x equals, that's 390. X equals, divide that by 3. That's 130. 390 divided by 3, that's 130. And I've got the value of x is 130. What do they want? They want the second number. So x equals 130. They want the second number, which is this one here. So that's 130 plus a 3. 133. That's 133. Done. We've got 6 more questions to go. Question number 13. The average of first and the last number of 15 consecutive numbers is 15. So I'm looking at the first and the last number. Let's say I take the first number to be x plus 1. So the next number is x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4 is the fourth number. So x plus 15 will be the 15th number. They want the first one, which is x plus 1. The last number, because they said it's 15 consecutive numbers, I know it's x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, so on. The last number would be x plus 15. So they're saying the average of the first and the last number, that's two numbers, right? The first and the last, that's two numbers. 15 consecutive numbers is 15. So once we form that equation, that's easy. We work at the second part of the question once we worked out the value of x, because they're saying what's the average of the first five numbers. So I need to find out the numbers. Let's take 2 to the other side, that's a 30. X and x together, that's a 2x. 1 and 15 together, that's a 16. 2x, take 16 to the other side, that's a 14. 2x, that means x is a 7. Now that I have the value of x, what do they want? What's the average of the first five numbers? Now, mind you, 7 is not the first number. Why? Because the first number was x plus 1. That is 7 plus 1, 8. So the first number is 8. They're talking about 15 consecutive numbers. And then they want the average of the first five numbers. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The first five numbers, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The average of them, let's divide it by 5. The average of them, again, I want to be a bit smart with this. 12 and 8, that's a 20. 11 and 9, that's also a 20. And I'm left with a 10. 10, 20, 30, 30, 20, 50. And I add them up, I get a 50. 50 divided by 10. 5 is a 10. Answer. Let's move on to the next question. 6 alternative integers add up to 396. So now they're talking about 6 alternative integers. Shall I take it as x plus 1? Then I'm dropping x plus 2. I take x plus 3. I drop x plus 4. I need to keep a count of them. I take x plus 5. So if you pick a pattern, I'm adding the odd numbers. So I don't make do a mistake. That's 4 numbers. That's the 5th one. And that's the 6th one. They all add up to give me 396. Which integer comes in between the first and the third? That means they want the second integer, which is x plus 3. They want the second integer, which is x plus 3. So all we need to do is solve them. That's, how many x's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6x plus. Let's work out these here. Actually, I would prefer to, how should I work with them? I want to be a bit smart with it again. I know that's a 12. 11 and 1, that's a 12, right? 9 and 3, that's also a 12. 5 and 7, that's also a 12. So I've got 3 12s, that's 36. That's 36. The rightmost and the leftmost number, 11 and 1, that's a 12. 9 and 3, that's another 12. And 7 and 5, that's another 12. We've got 3 12s. 12 and 12 and 12, that's 36 equals 396. Let's work this out. Take 36 to the other side, subtract it. 36, that would give me 60. 96 take away 36 would give me a 60, right? 6x divided both by 6, I end up getting a 60. Now, coming back, my first number was x plus 1. I created such a mess there, I can't recognize what's written. But the first number was x plus 1, remember? So that's 60. Is the value of x plus 1, that's 61. So the first number is 61. We're talking about 6 alternative integers, which means I'm not taking 62, I take 63, not 64, I take 65, so forth. They want the number in between the first and the third, which is the second number, 63. Next question. Dana appeared for 5 tests in total. She scored an average of 90 in the first 3 tests. She scored an average of 80 in all the 5 tests. What is her average of the last 2 tests? Let's see, what's the easiest way to work it out? I would say that if she scored an average of 90 in the first 3 tests, that means it's okay for me to say she got a 90, a 90, and a 90. If she got a 90, let's say she got a 17 one of them and an 18 one of them and 100 the other one. That means the average is 90. Average is what you get when you balance out everything that you're calculating, right? So I would say 90, 90, 90. That's 270. So she scored a total of 270 here. And she scored an average of 80 in all the 5 tests. That means it's 80, 80, 80, 80, 80. That's 80 times 5. That's a 400. That's a 400. The total she has is a 400 in all the, if you calculate all of them. So the total score that she had in the first 3 tests was 270. 270. The other 2 we don't know, but we do know that in all, she had a total score of 400. So what's this? How much is this over here? Because that's what the question was. They're saying, what's her average in the last 2 tests? What's the average in the last 2 tests? So we need this one over here. Can I say that it's 400 take away 270 would give me the sum of these 2? So 400 take away 270 is 130. And how do you get the average of something? To get the average of something, I can say that it's the sum of them, which I already got, is 130. The sum of them, the first test plus the second test, like these 2, divided by 2. 130 divided by 2 is 65. 65. So that's my answer. I know this was like a very, very much of a shortcut. Actually, I have a shorter cut, by the way, because what you can do is, they're saying what's her average in the last 2 tests, right? So I do know that the average of the first 3 tests is 90, 90, 90. 90 and 90. But in the other 2, let's say we don't know how much she got. We don't know how much she got. And divided by 5. That should eventually end up giving me an 80. Now the point is, here, take a look, this is kind of important. If she got 100 in both her tests, these over here, would the average go down to 80? I mean, she has 90s and 100s. Could the average ever be an 80? I don't think so. Not really, right? The average is supposed to be somewhere in between 90 and 100. If this was 100, if the average over here was 100, they all look like zeros. If the average over here was, if these 2 numbers were 100 and 100, the final answer should have been somewhere like 97. Let's take a look at the next one. If all of them were 90, you had 90 in all the 5 tests, what would the average be? The average would be 90. Because she got 90 in all the tests, the average is 90. No, the average we have is an 80. How about if these 2 numbers was replaced by 85, like they're saying in option B? 85 and 85. Wouldn't the average be somewhere in between 85 and 90? Right? 85 and 90? Actually, what they're saying is that the average has gone all the way down to 80. That means the other 2 numbers have to be below 80, and 65 is the only option where you've got something below 80. So that's how you can solve this in a quicker way. There is one more way of working it out, which is extremely theoretical, and it would be a bit long, is the way we worked out the ABCDE questions. Let me show you. Remember this question? Remember question number 11? We can do this question in the same format as well. You can, question number 11, the way we added them all up and formed 2 equations, you can do this question in the exact same format. this one here, and you get the same answer, 65. So I've shown you 3 ways of working it out. Let's move on to the next question. A series contains of all even integers between 3 and 13. So there are even integers between 3 and 13. What numbers are they, by the way? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can't go past that. What's the average of the series? So they want the average of this. Let's add everything up and divide by how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divide by 5. That's the average that they're looking for. Again, I want to be a bit smart with this. 12 and 8. That's 20, right? 20, 20 and 10. That's a 30. This is also a 10, by the way. So I have a 30 and 10. That's a 40. 40 divided by 5. That's an 8. So the average of the series is 8. Let's move on to the next question. Sum of 6 consecutive numbers is 87. 6 consecutive numbers. What's the first one? Let me start with, let's say x. We started with x1, x plus 1 before, right? Let's just change that. Let's start with x. So the first number, second number, because they're saying consecutive, I don't need to drop anything. I take all the numbers. X plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X plus 5. That's 6 numbers. The sum of them is 87. What's the first number? So I've got 6 x's, right? Plus, let me add all of this up. 5 and 4, 9, 9 and 3. Because they're small numbers, I'm not bothered about being smart with this. I'll just add it. 5 and 4, 9, 9 and 3, 12. 12 and 2, 14. 14 and 1, 15. 87. 6x, take 15 to the other side. That's 87, take away 15. That's 2 with 7. 6x divided both by 6. I end up getting a 12. So I got the value of x is 12. What was my first number? It was x itself, which is 12. So that is the first number in the series. Next question, last question. We're doing 18 questions for the quantitative section today. The product of 2 consecutive numbers. Okay, now they're interested in the product. So I'll say the first one is x, and I'll say the second one is x plus 1. Because they said product, I did not add, I multiplied. 2 consecutive numbers divided by 2. Oh, what's happening? Divided by 2 is 15. What's the first number? Okay, I can work it out as well. Let's say take 2 to the other side. That's 15 times 2. That's a 30. So 2 numbers consecutive are multiplying together to give you the product of 2 consecutive divided by 2 is 15. What's the first number? Okay, that's 30. That's actually, I don't think there's a problem with the options. It's supposed to be 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 2 numbers that multiply. I don't even have to work it out because 2 numbers that multiply together to give me a 30. What are the 2 numbers? I have 1 times 30. I have 2 times 15. 3 times 10. I'm looking for consecutive numbers. 4 times 5 times 6. 2 consecutive numbers that multiply to give me a 30. So I know one of them is 5. The other one is 6. They're saying what's the first number? So the first number is 5. That's the answer. Okay, now that we're done with the quantitative section, for the verbal section, what we're doing today is we're going to try something different. What we are going to do for the verbal section is I've attached a file below where you can go through. So I'm giving you the task. I'm not going to be doing them with you. There's a total of 8 questions for sentence completion. Work them out. Check how many you get correct. Check how many you don't get correct. If you did not get them correct, try and work out what the reason is. The answers along with the explanations are given below inside the PDF that's attached. So that's it for today, and do let me know if you get all of them correct. That would be great. Or if there are any problems with the sentence completion questions, again, you can post anything below the video in the discussion forum, and enjoy that, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Until then, keep shining.